US President Joe Biden claims the Quad alliance has made significant progress in helping the Indo-Pacific region after the meeting on the sidelines of the G7 summit in Hiroshima.
The meeting, hosted by Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, pledged to uphold peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific region. Tess Newton Cain is the project leader for the Griffith Asia Institute's Pacific Hub, and she joins us now from Brisbane. Very good morning to you. Lots of words, but not actually what these Quad nations intend to actually do. What do you think all of the words like pledge to uphold peace and stability actually mean?
I think that's a really important point, and it kind of illustrates what we've seen already. We had pledges made by the US at the Pacific Islands Forum last year, and we've heard other things from the Quad as well. And obviously it is growing in importance for its membership. But I think in terms of translating that into something that's meaningful for the Pacific Islands region, we've yet to really see that breakthrough. And obviously on this occasion, it will be up to Prime Minister Modi to pitch this and to sell this to Pacific Island leaders when he meets with them in Port Moresby in the early part of this coming week.
What could it look like, Tess? What can they say and actually physically do?
I think that's the sort of million-dollar question. And given that President Biden is returning to negotiate debt issues, as we heard from one of your colleagues, that's kind of where the rubber hits the road. Is that in terms of if the expectation is that the US will bankroll a lot of this, then the dysfunctionality of the domestic politics and getting the money on the table is really key. And I think the Pacific leaders aren't new to this. They're kind of inured to great announcements and then things kind of slow rolling and not necessarily transpiring in the way that's expected or things getting changed. But I definitely think there are some important opportunities, particularly around helping Pacific Island countries secure communications with undersea cables. Solomon Islands is currently dealing with the issues resulting from their undersea cable having been damaged. We've seen previous issues of that type in Tonga. So there's definitely scope there that Pacific Island countries, I think, would welcome, given their increased reliance on that form of connectivity.
Will China, which obviously wants to play an active role in that region, see it as anything other than posturing?
Well, I don't know. I'm not a China expert, so I don't know what China's reaction will be. I guess my concern is, what does this mean in terms of relationships with Pacific Island countries, and to what extent do these initiatives and these promises marry up with the development and sovereignty needs of Pacific Island countries? And so that's really, and in terms of the Quad's relationships with the region, whilst we all know that there's a lot about China involved in this, what Pacific leaders and what Pacific communities are looking for is real meaningful commitments to substantial and substantive long-term relationships with them for their own sake, not because somebody's frightened of what China may or may not do.
It was an important visit, the Biden visit for PNG, wasn't it? They declared a national holiday, lots of preparations and lots of money spent. As you mentioned, the Prime Minister Modi is going to go. What meetings will he have?
Well, he was always going to convene the third meeting of what's referred to as FIPIC, so that's the Forum of India and Pacific Island Countries. He'll meet with 14 leaders of Pacific Island countries, all of whom are members of the Pacific Islands Forum. And this forms part of an increased focus from India on the Pacific. It started a few years ago with what was called the Look East initiative, and that has now become Act East. And by virtue of these meetings, and also by virtue of the Quad's focus on the region, we are seeing India starting to take on a bigger role in the region beyond its previous kind of natural home in Fiji because of the Indian diaspora. So we have seen Papua New Guinea sign up to contracts for medical supplies, particularly medicines from India. India has a strong role to play in assisting Pacific Island countries that want to move to renewable energy, particularly solar. It hosts the International Solar Alliance, of which and a number of Pacific Island countries are members of that. So there's definitely a degree of political will to be more engaged in the region. We've yet to see how much underpinning there is in terms of Pacific expertise within the Indian policy community.
Tess Newton Cain, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you.